Sherpa. In about an hour, I'm going to show you how to paint this fantastic cresting wave that's crashing over with foam and exciting things. It's fully guided, everything you need to know to get this on your wall today. So grab your paint, your brushes, and your canvas and come back and meet me at this easel right now. Come on, let's go. Hey, welcome back to the studio. We have a really exciting project to do today that I'm thrilled to be sharing with you. If you are a returning artist, how have you guys been? Have you been creative all week and been living open arted? I hope so. If you're new to the channel, you're gonna love this. This is a completely fully guided lesson. I don't fast forward me, you fast forward me. You wanna hear what I have to say? You can hear everything I have to say. If you're like, nah, I got that, you can skip ahead, but I put every single bit of information in this lesson, so no matter what your painting level is, you can accomplish a wave today, and that's pretty exciting. Now, waves are mentally a bit of trouble for people. People get a little locked up on water and glass and smoke, things that are atmospheric, but actually those are some of the easiest things to paint once you understand how they work. What you're going to need for materials today is a 16 by 20 pre-gessoed canvas. Those big packages of economy canvases are fine, but I'm starting to tell people to gesso them if they're giving you trouble, because sometimes I get a pre-packaged bunch of canvases and they paint smoothly, and sometimes I'm like, what is going on with the canvas? And so if you have any trouble, a little bit of white gesso just brushed on in a thin coat and allowed to dry will correct for any of your canvas issues. The next thing that we've got to worry about is, hey, what paint colors are we going to paint with? And we have it laid out today, and these are the colors of the ocean, which is cad red. Place to save money is if you get cad red medium hue. That will save you some money. We have burnt sienna. We have cadmium yellow. Again, if you buy the hue, it will save you some money. We have titanium white, phthalo blue, dioxazine purple, phthalo green, and a little bit of Mars black. You'll need some water for brushes. Assorted brushes in the description below is more information about the materials that'll tell you every little kind of brush that we're going to be using during this. You can get that right there. You can also go to Pinterest, Facebook, or the web page to get pinnable, shareable materials lists, because we try to make those for every video now and also supplement with more information. Now, the last and final most important thing that you've got to have is something that makes this painting time special. You know I like to have crazy stuff. So what I've got here, and I'm super sort of excited about this, unsipped, unknown. Let me hold this awesome bottle up for you. I'm like not coordinated today. Look at this. This gorgeous cherry and lemon artisanal is artisanal French soda. Artisanal French soda. It came from that World Market in Bed Bath & Beyond. I was in there and I wanted something special to drink when I was with you guys, but it was earlier in the morning and it wouldn't be appropriate to have like a Pinterest inspired cocktail. So I'm going to try a bunch of these and I'll tell you if I like them. I haven't ever tried them, but I thought, hey, I can try them for you and let you know if they're any good. So we'll do that right now. Is it any good? Let's find out. Oh, this is really good. This, it's very, it reminds me of an old soda fountain without that weird modern toxic taste of all the dyes and sugars. That's really good. And the ingredients on this were not that bad. Hey, the other thing I'm going to introduce you guys to today is the slow dry blending medium. You see that right there? Slow dry blending medium, because you guys keep asking me, how can I slow down my paint drying time and how can I make that easier for me because it's just going so fast? This is really simple to use. I'm going to use it in the upper part here just to demo it so you have an idea. You guys get yourself a little jar of this at your local craft store and that will slow down your painting time. Now we're to it. Oh, you might have noticed this back here. What is this for? Because we're going to make a mess. You may need to, at some point in this lesson, go outside to do your wave splatter. You may need to put something behind it. If you're in a beautiful kitchen with a great granite counter and you get paint on anything, tip, little rubbing alcohol will take up dried paint. Just take it right up. Just take it right off. All right, I'm going to get myself a little 1/2 inch bright here. You see that? A 1/2 inch bright. And the reason that I say 1/2 inch instead of telling you that's number 14 by Creative Mark Ebony Splendor is because the brush companies don't have standardized brushes. So a 14 in this brush line will be not the same as a 14 in another brush line necessarily. But you can say, hey, I need a square 1/2 inch brush with a sharp edge. I can find that, and a medium flip back for acrylic painting. I'm gonna get my brush wet, and I'm gonna kind of just lay in my first little part of my wave, my curve. This is an interesting thing. So you see I got a little bit of green, a little bit of purple, and a little bit of blue, and you're like, what is that? How is that all in water? See this dark, really wonderful color? So about 4 fingers up from here, I'm gonna make a little mark. A lot of times I do this in little like chalk and everything with you guys, but you know, so here's the halfway mark of the canvas, right? And I'm gonna say right about there, I'm gonna make another little mark, and then I'm gonna just come in straight, 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 start curving up, 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 up. Oh, it's like a roller coaster, is that fun? You can change this if you get it really, really off. And you can put this in chalk as well, and see I'm curving it back over for where the crest is gonna be. And this doesn't need to be very, very specific. What I'm trying to do is say, hey, I've got this shape here, because there's very few shapes in waves that really matter. And listen, once you get this basic thing down, you're gonna have enough starter skills to then go start doing some of those other awesome YouTube wave tutorials that are out there by the other awesome YouTube creators. Now the other thing that I'm going to do is kind of an up and down, almost like, and I always like to say when I'm doing things like this, I'm thinking Jackie Chan, I'm thinking Drunken Monkey, I'm thinking, you know, crazy wobbly thing. And this is something you can go back and adjust again if you're having trouble. Do you see that right there? If you're having trouble getting that wavy, wavy line. And now I'm going to rinse out this brush, and I'm going to get a bigger brush in a filbert, I think, I need it to be fairly stiff. So here's about a 1 inch filbert. You'll see it's got kind of a soft edge. And I'm gonna put out my slow dry. And I'm just trying to show you guys how easy it is. Good Lord, I haven't even opened it. Because I paint so fast, I really, unless I'm painting outside, don't need to slow my medium down. Oh, hey, if you're interested in painting outside, look up bushcraft easel. Just put those keywords in your search thing. I can't remember, I cannot say the name of the channel. There is an amazing channel. Oh my gosh, my mom and I are totally watching it, and he like hand makes easels and goes out for 4-day hikes and paints outside. Super fun stuff. If you're painting outside, this might be a time you would use that. I would never ever paint outside in the way that he does though. I'm on the luxury painting tour where they bring me cheese and wine. I go on that retreat. I don't. But I think it's awesome that he does. So you don't want to get it, I got my brush a little wet, but not too wet. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a little of the white, the purple to the slow dry blending medium. I'm going to get a little brown here. Okay, I'm going to get a little brown. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to paint this in. Now, here's what you need to know about slow dry. I figured we can just talk about it while we're painting with it, right? It will lighten your paint a bit until it dries. Okay? So, you know how we talk about color shift, like things dry darker? It will cause a temporary color shift. Now, I feel like I need more brown in this mix. I'm going to come over here. This is the underpainting that I've got going up here, and I may need to get some green in this. This is this dark, deep storm that's happening above this large wave. So right now we're painting kind of a much more stormy, intense sea. This is a maverick, right? These are the waves that are going to really inspire people to go out there and surf them. The other thing that you're going to see with slow dry is that it's also, okay, going to make your paint a little more translucent. So you're going to really have to sort of work for it. And see, I can go right wet into wet, almost like an alla prima painter once that's in there. This is a real good way for you to extend the drying time. Another tip to extend drying time that you might not be aware of, I don't get my brush wet as often when I'm using drying mediums, is the golden opens, right? So they're acrylic paint that doesn't dry quickly. See how I'm just coming in here like this? And if you add just their white to your regular acrylic paint, when you're adding white or lightening it, it will slow down the drying time. So there's a couple ways that you can get to if you find the paints are just drying on you too quickly. Now, as I'm getting closer to the wave here, you're going to notice that this color is sort of lightening up. I want it darker above the wave and a little bit more rust up here. You know, just enjoy that. Now, right now, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to make a teardrop shape right now. This little opening is going to be a really nice, perfect teardrop. And my purple color is going to be above here, and then all my blues and greens and aquatic colors are going to be down here. I love that you guys, I'm going to get a little green right now. I love that you guys voted on this the way that you did. I love that you did. See how dark that is? It's really excitingly dark. And that you guys are helping me pick what tutorials that you want on the channel. I love when you go to the Facebook page and you're like, yes, this one, like. Because that lets me know what I'm going to be teaching. And you may have noticed, definitely hustling to get more and more up on the channel. Well, working it. See, now I'm going back and working that color in. And it works in. A little more red, a little more purple. That red, it's burnt sienna. See? How is that? This is easy. You're going to have this up on your wall in no time. This is just easy. Look at these multi-tonal painting. Multi-tonal. Multi-tonal is fine. Little bit of water, not a lot, because I'm letting the medium carry me. You know, if you need to get a little green in there, get a little green in there. These are not colors you would normally think, hey, I would mix these together. But yet, for this fabulous painting, they are exactly the colors that you would mix together. And that, to me, is super interesting. And you can kind of see I'm being very random, and almost some places I'm scrumbling. Scrumbling is this. And some places I'm just moving quickly and trying to randomize and break up the pattern of my brush strokes, right? Now, if you're a little brush and you're painting with me, say I grabbed a little phthalo blue, a little purple, grab a little brown. This is something you can really do. This is something you can do at any age. And hey, once you have the wave in, you can add other things to it. You can put in a kraken. You can add a surfer, a dolphin. This is your painting, okay? You got a whole life where people can tell you what you can and can't do, but not in your art. You get to do what you want in your art. I'm here to guide you. That's true. Get you through a successful painting. I love it when you share your art with me on the webpage, on the Facebook page, on Pinterest. I love that. But what I really love is when you guys just paint and you just go, hey, this is my painting time. I love it. Belongs to me. I'm important in my day. I'm coming along, flying on. I don't have to be that worried or concerned with this line. I don't want you guys to feel really stressed about it. You're just blocking out. See, artists, when we paint all the time, we just go, some stuff here. Oh, I need some stuff here, and we just throw it in, and we're very like, and when you're new to painting, you're like, oh God, I hope this is the most perfect line ever curving down, because if it's not perfect curving down, the whole painting will be messed up. You guys get a little more experience, 10, 20, 30 paintings under your belt, you're going to be blocking it in too, going, it's all good. I just need to get that first layer of paint on here. First layer of paint. So see, and this is going to be a little bit slow to dry. So I've got time, if you needed time to work this and get this sort of watercolory effect going in here, now you've got time, right? And that's going to be the big thing on your wave, and that's why I'm bringing out the slow drying medium for this lesson. You can do this without slow drying medium. The one you guys voted on, I certainly didn't use slow drying medium on it. I just painted the thing in. But this is a good time to introduce you to that and get you excited about it. So you've got that up there. The other thing you have to do if you're using slow dry medium is you have to wait now 3 days. Not 1 day, but 3 days before you varnish. And you know I want you to varnish. You still need to varnish. You still need to varnish. I'm going to rinse out my brush really, 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 really well. And I actually think I'm going to get into my little square, half-inch square here. And I'm going to make some turquoise. And I'm going to get my phthalo green, a little bit of phthalo blue, some cad yellow, and then I'm going to add a little white. I might need a little more blue. You're going to have to, this is a fun thing, to work out the color mixture on, there we go, with a little more yellow. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add this color. And you may need to grab some slow drying medium. Put it out where you need it. Okay? Put out the slow drying medium where you need it. Add it where you need it. Right? So I added some more blue to that. Good soda. So this is just sort of this almost like very bright green. I'm going to add a little more blue to the mix. It's a wonderful time. A little bit more blue to this. If you have that Southern Ocean and that Australian sienna that I'm so fond of, if you bought that, if you were lucky enough to get that, oh boy, this is a great place to use that. If you have it. Don't have it, don't worry about it. Right now, we're just getting this brighter color in here. Here's another thing I'd like you to be thinking about. Follow this here. When I'm doing the brush strokes here, even though I'm being kind of random, I am following the curve. Everything within the wave, you need the brush strokes directionality to tell the story of that wave, of that flow, of that curl. Okay? So as you're going, make sure that you're respecting that curve in that story. That will do a lot to say water. That's a lot of what says water is the directionality and flow of your brush stroke. If water is on a street and light is, oh, I don't want any purple now. If light is affecting it, it's going to have very level little reflections on the top. If it's flowing down a stream, it's going to have a particular flow. And if it's curving up a wave, it's going to have a particular flow. So, I mean, there's lots of wave classes. My mom Ginger has a great wave class. You'd be ready to do her free online lesson for sure. After this, be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to make a translucent wave crashing on rocks. And there's so much wave information out there. People really study painting the ocean. They like study it. Study it. Seriously study it. They're not relaxed about it. They are studying the ocean. And you can be studying the ocean too. You can watch videos of oceans, or you can go on Pinterest and really look at waves. Where is the wave darkest? Where is the wave lightest? Try not to see the objects as what they are, but look instead for the lightest shade and the darkest shade. A lot of water painting is about tonality. So pay attention to where is it dark, where is it light, because those things might surprise you in where a water droplet actually casts a shadow. We're going to cover some of that a little bit later. So see, now we've got this curve in here and it's already starting to look like wave. This is just easier than you ever knew. I'm going to get my bigger brush back out. So basic and general thing I want to say is the water down here coming up is going to be very deep and Atlantic. It's going to be dark. It's going to be rich. It'll have some reflections of the sky. It'll have some highlights. But this is where your deepest water streaks are going to be. And then as you're coming up, it is going to lighten up. And so one of the things that we might do is we might do our lighter water up here. And then as we're coming down, we'll get into our deeper water, because sometimes it's easier for you guys to preserve the light over the dark. So I'm going to get some purple, blue, little green, maybe a little more green, some white. Yeah. So here we are at the top of this. Now I've got some slow dry blending medium in that. Another thing that I've got in that, and I'll pick up some of that turquoise there, is I'm not over mixing it, so I'm allowing some streakage to happen. Okay? I'm coming here and I'm blending it down. See the curve of my brush stroke, how this curve dictates, creates, informs the rest. Now I've got back into my turquoise, because I definitely want some of that in there. And I'm blending it right into that color I just had. Easy to do. My little ping is probably one of you guys messaging me. I do what I can to answer. I do what I can. So much to do to have a YouTube channel. You don't even know. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so much fun. So I'm going to keep this going. And I'll have a little bit of this here. Now some of this light is going to really disappear as I'm painting, because this is a very deep wave, almost like a wave from Teapu. Okay. Just pay attention to your strokes as they're going. Right? Where you need to. Hopefully the slow dry is allowing you some blend time and you're able to get those sort of water effects. We're going to be layering this painting. Waves are simple. This is simple. You can do this. You got this. So, all right, we're going to get into our deep colors. So we're going to get our blue and our purple again and our green. We're gonna come in here. Woo. I know you guys are always like cringing waiting for me to put my brush in whatever I'm drinking. Now a lot of times when we're doing this type of ocean, you would actually use an ultramarine instead of a phthalo. But I'm trying to avoid making you guys run out and buy more paint where it's not necessary. But again, if you were to continue on doing some studies of waves, like say in my mom's YouTube channel, you're going to hear about some of these other colors, some of these phthalos and some of these colors. Now I'm going to throw you here. I'm going to do a little something you're not going to expect. We're going to add some red into this mix. Okay. And a lot of this is that we've got to get a basic level of paint up. We're brushing up. Brushing up. Hold on a second. Magic of editing. So we're just getting these colors in here. We're just telling a tonal story. We're just telling a tonal story. Red. You can get a little of that brown too, will also work. A little white. See, look at that, how that grays it out, makes that a stormy, angry ocean. And I'm just coming up here. You need blending medium. You know, add it to the paint. I'm going to let a dark little line be all the way here. I'm just trying to cover up at this stage the white of the canvas. Okay? That is what I'm working on at this stage. This is blocking in or creating an underpainting. It's just with water. We have the opportunity to do a great job with that, right? See, and brushing it up. We're going to really work this wave. It's going to be a lot of fun, a little bit messy for the white water. Little bit messy, but super fun. Super fun. As I get over here, I'm going to get real dark. I go dark. As dark as I can go. Get some real depth in this corner on this. Okay. Just real deep. Something that you can do for yourself if you want to create something spectacular in your living space. Once you've done this on a 16 by 20 and you feel really good about how you know how to do a wave, consider doing it on a 30-inch by 40-inch canvas and putting it over your sofa on a gallery wrap. People are going to think you spent thousands and thousands of dollars on original art that you will have just done yourself. And hey, if you have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on original art, I'm certainly not trying to discourage you from doing that. As a working artist, I appreciate people that collect. I do. I absolutely do. But you know, sometimes there's a beauty, a special beauty in making things ourselves. There is a special magic to that. Notice how I'm paying real particular attention to the line directionality. Already, and this is my underpainting. This is like my doodle. It's looking like a wave. Alrighty, looking like a wave, acting all wave-like, being all crazy in its waveness. Right? And that's awesome when you can do that. All right. That's tacky, so I think I can finish that off. It's tacky. Not tacky and is bad, but it's just tacky, and then I'm going to finish that off with a hairdryer. Because the next thing I'm going to want to do is going to require some dry brushing. So it's going to be really a balance of using my blending mediums where I need it and dry brushing. But now that I've sort of got this in, I'm kind of golden. Right? So I'm going to get, I like to go for my battered brush. An abused, neglected, harmed brush that I have, you know, left paint on and it's dried on it, and then I've soaked the paint off, used a paint technique. That's the next one I'm going to use, but first let me dry it. Hair drying technique, if you guys are new, is 6 inches from the canvas. Move it around, move it around, move it around, move it around. You know, just get a nice blowing going. Don't get it up on the canvas like that. That isn't helpful. Okay. So just get it where it's, you know, dry to the touch and not too tacky. Don't be tacky. And here's what I want you to do through this point. First thing I want you to do is go, and I want you just to release whatever your fear is about this experience. Your fear that you can't paint the wave, your fear that you're not good enough to do this, your fear that you're just lacking some essential skill that allows you to paint. Those things really aren't true. They're just sort of like being afraid of what's in the closet. It's sort of like the grown-up boogeyman. We're afraid that we're not enough to do what it is we want to do. And that's one of the first things that you really got to let go in art, is that fear. So just take a minute, and if you've got a fear about what's coming in the painting, a belief about how you can't do it, take in some air and just release it, because it's not true. It's not relevant to the experience. There is no comparison. Life is not an art show. No one's judging. It's just about you and your sacred time, being with yourself, getting to know yourself in a creative space. All right, I want to start creating some tonalities. I want to start creating some dry brushing. I pulled out a little brush that I like to use for that. And the first thing that I want to start doing here is working some of the deeper colors that I know that I've got here. So I'm going to get into my little purple. I'm not adding any white to anything, my green. I'm trying to create a very deep, maybe you might even need a little red here. I'm trying to create a very deep color. And just in here, I'm going to very lightly, and I want you to really watch this, dry brush some of this into this space. I will pay attention to my directionality. All right, but I'm just going to add some of these deep, deep tones. Okay, there's some shadow where this water is cresting, and I just need it to be in here. Okay, I'm just going to see it's almost like applying a dry makeup when you really start working it. And that's why it's got to be dry to get that. But I need that shadow in that little space, right? I'm going to come work some other colors in here. The other thing that I'm going to get is I'm going to get my purple and my brown. Maybe a little white. Okay. I'm going to create a break, okay? And this is really where the Jackie Chan, once you call in the energy of the Jackie Chan, if you haven't watched a Jackie Chan movie, you should. He does this thing, this drunken monkey, where he's just sort of like, right? You need some of his kung fu. Just call that into yourself. Call in that energy. You didn't even know Jackie Chan was teaching you about painting when he was making those fun movies, but he was. Because he's teaching you about breaking up the patterns. I mean, that's sort of really how that works. Your enemy can't see you coming because you can't predict where you're going to go. Nature's all about that. Nature's all about that. So get that in, and I'm doing a scrumbling technique with this. Now, I don't really want that much of my slow, dry medium in that, you know, because I don't want it to be translucent. I want it to be very opaque and be here. And I'm going to pull that up. Now, all through here now, I've got to work out some tonality. So I'm going to be in this strange brown, purple. I may have to put out some more purple-white kind of space, like right here. I'm going to be, see if you can really see that, flicking up. I'm allowing the awesomely messed upness. Is that? Let focus on it. The awesomely messed upness of the brush, right? To create this sort of wonderful break effect. And that's what this is. This breaking of the bonds where the water is wanting to stay cohesive and wanting to be together, but the forces, the inertia, the gravity, the pull, is pulling it apart. Ever feel like that in your life? I know on occasion I do feel like that on my life. Right? I know on occasion I do. I forgot to mention to you, buy the best paint that your budget will allow from a company that cares about your consumer experience. Try to avoid crazy off-brands of very cheap paint where you can. Just where you can. Try to avoid it. Okay, so I'm coming up here, and this takes some layers is what this takes. If sometimes my tone is darker and sometimes lighter, that actually does not bother me because it would be like that in the break of the wave, okay? And we're going to be telling a whole little waterline story here in a little bit. You did not even know we were, but we are. Come down here and add some break in the wave. Maybe even kind of scramble some dots out there, right? Breaking that water up. You don't even know the forces of nature doing their thing. So this is a darker color, right? I mean, not a darker, this is a lighter color than your background. It's showing up. You can see that sort of showing up, creating that break. And this is our first layer of the break. We will have much lighter layers that we work. You can work it through, man. Work it through. It's really fun. This, once you get into it, you're going to want to paint every wave picture on Pinterest. You know, remember to respect copyright. We can't, you know, take people's stuff, but you're going to be so inspired. Go by Paint My Photo. That's great. I use Paint My Photo all the time. I've even contributed to their site because I think they're such a tremendous resource for artists. Go by Paint My Photo. You know, it's a great place to get water pictures that are literally up there for you to use, for you to paint, for you to practice. That's what they've done. They've created a website for that. How awesome is that? I'm not even painting from Paint My Photo today, and I'm telling you about it because that's how good I think that they are as a resource. So we don't need to take from each other. We can take inspiration from each other. Now all through here, even up high, this big part of the break, there's just this huge storm. So I'm going to really scrumble this. So if you didn't already have a brush that looked like this, see my brush? It just refuses to see it. If you didn't already have a brush that looked like that, then, you know, you will at the end of this. You should have always one stiff bristle. I think naturals make the quickest conversion to this type of brush, personally. Like, it's the easiest to just mess up your natural brush and get it to scrumble out because they're already stiffer. They're already there. So it's a good one to convert. You're going to find that doing this is just the most relaxing, most fun. Put your week and all your worries to bed activity. The wave, the water, the ocean. You can work through so much emotional stuff painting oceans. You can totally work it out in a way you cannot imagine. Just coming up here, just working this. You know, and I don't mind allowing, you'll notice I'll allow some of the other colors to, you know, be through here. If you ever get too much, just wipe it off on something. Now I'm going to break a little bit some of this here. Not all of it, I'm just breaking up this line. Because there's this point when this wave starts to break and we're going to be working that out too. So we're just getting this all happily done. Happily working it out. Oh, I'm going to break up that pattern there. Just looking for places to break it. You got to break it to make it. Look at, see, this is already, you're like, what? That's just like becoming a wave so fast. Yeah. It is. I know these lessons are long, guys. I know they are. And in a workshop, we wouldn't think a lot of being together this long. That would be pretty typical, right? Being together several hours over a couple of days to cover this type of information, actually. Take breaks when you need them. I think it's hard to go more than 20 minutes at a shot, especially if you do not, like, yes, I can sit here and do this for, like, indefinitely all day till I go to bed. But while I might not be fit in, like, you know, triathlon mudding sense, I am incredibly fit in painting sense. Man, I can go all day. I'm like the Hulk of painting. This is a really good soda. I think I should try more of them. Well, let's call it like for the show. We're like, well, we got to do it for the show. I've got to go into a world market for the show and buy sodas so I can tell you guys about them, you know, so you don't have to buy them. That's what I've got to do. All right, I'm going to let all this sit for a minute so I can come back and work it again. I will put this brush back in the water. And I'm going to get my 1/2 inch bright out, rinsed out very, 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 very well. Okay. And I'm going to make a dark color. I'm going to get my purple out, a little of my red into that purple. Right. Notice that I'm trying to avoid the center of my paint plops, so I always have some clean, fresh paint to work with. Always trying to create that clean, fresh paint to work with. And then when I have this sort of deep, see there, this deep color, I'm going to come in. Right. I'm trying to make a nice little fine line right here. Right there. Can you see that? Oh, now see, I'm starting to get into my wave relax. Waves are relaxing. Chillaxing, relaxing. I might even put some streaks of this color here and there because I know it needs it. Just reinforcing that curve. We're not doing foam this time. The little random foam that goes up the wave, we don't have that in this wave. You know, that's something maybe we'll cover on another little beach project. Now I'm coming along this little edge here, and I'm using this dark color, and and hopefully you can observe this carefully. I'm using the tip of my brush, and I'm creating this sort of shadow of the edge of the water where it's deep here. This is a tricky little bit of work. Right? But you've got this. I mean, really think about what this is. It's not that hard to make a wiggly little line that travels along horizontally or a teardrop shape, or to make a little dark color to have a shadow. None of these things are particularly hard. And if they are hard, they won't be hard forever. That's the other thing you guys have to remember. If it's hard today, as long as you keep doing it, it won't be hard forever. At some point, it's going to get super uber easy. You're going to be like, oh, well, it wasn't so bad. I'm going to make some little dabs of this dark paint, this dark color, this deep color that I've got. Oh, do I give you color mixing? I just don't even cut you any break at all. I'm like, we are mixing compound colors today. It's happening. Complex is going on. We're just going to do it like it's simple because we're not going to be concerned or worried. Right? I'm putting a little dab of this out here. And I'm going to work some dabs of this dark shade. What's going to be up in this break here. This is actually important. Try to get these in. These little dark tones. You're going to want them. Okay? You're going to want this. You're going to want it. Make that nice crisp edge. And this is a nice crisp edge you really want in your painting. You can come back. I can use water to improve the flow. Help me crisp it up. You know, but I just know that I want that crisper kind of thing. I'm going to rinse this out right now. And I'm going to get a little of my yellow. If my water has gotten dirty, this can be a good time to change water if your water is getting dirty on you. It's interesting how in painting it's always about this. Check the amount of paint on your brush, check how clean is your water. Notice how I've never check you have enough talent. Check your talent enough to do it. I'm always like, check the paint, check the water, check the canvas, check. It's a materials list issue. It's so rarely a you issue. You don't even know how rarely it's a you thing, right? All right, so I've got this, and I'm going to get a little bit of this phthalo green and come over here, trying to get this really particular color. A little bit of this phthalo blue, and I hit the white, and I think I've got it. I'm going to come here, along here. I'm going to very carefully, and it's just such a glow. I'm going to work this. I'm going to work this. Okay. Need a little more white because there's some deep color in my brush. Okay, working this. All right, now let's get the phthalo in there. Some deep turquoise there, and we're gonna come in and we're gonna break the break here. Right? Where this break is going to be happening, we're going to create some multi-tonal of this shade. Where you're going to need it. Need some of this multi-tonal deep crush. Sure, if you understand what I'm talking about, what the waves do, where they create these deep colors and they really tell you what they have going on. My dad and I, when I was a girl, I grew up in San Diego, California, and my dad was really into boogie boarding, and he would take me out into the bigger break, and I remember just, because for somebody my height, that's like surfing pipeline. If you're a couple feet tall, a 4-foot wave is like an event in your life, you know. And he would take me out there, and I would say things like, well, at least we'll die together. That just scared the crud out of me all the time. Let's get some Just Phthalo and some Just Phthalo blue and mix them together. Some white into that. We need a little more phthalo green. There it is. We're just working that break. Working that break. Ooh, there's some drama going on in the background. So, all right, I'm going to take a minute and send them light and love, whatever the ambulances are going for. Hope that the people are okay. Everybody is okay. See, this is what it's like YouTube. It's like, this is almost exactly like what it would be painting with me in a studio, because you'd be hearing the noises I hear. You'd be experiencing what I hear. It wouldn't be in a production. Not that I would be like adverse to going to a production studio and doing this. I think that would be just a ton of fun. You know, don't forget to comment and subscribe. I always forget to ask you guys to do that. Comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Put it in the comments. How are you liking this? Is this just becoming something luminescent and wonderful? Let me get back into my dark color. I'm going to work a little bit here, just a touch of the darkness there. Just tell a little bit of that story, just a little bit, just a dab. Okay guys, just a dab. Come here and define this curl. Define your curl. This is your tube, this is your window to shoot out. Now I'm getting a little worried. You guys hear that? Let's send light and love to whoever's out there, whatever they're going through. We're going to just wish them well and hope that everything is okay, because that's a little worrisome. All right. So we've got the blue and the green. We're going to get a little of this right here, maybe a little more blue. It's you've got to find your color. It's like it's seeking. You're seeking it. Okay, and then we're going to come up into here. We're going to get some of this. This is going to be, see, our water would be doing some really interesting things here up in the break. And we're going to have all this white for sure up here. Having a little of this is so informative about what is going on in the wave. I'm very lightly going to brush some of this blue color. A lot of it's going to disappear. A lot of it's going to disappear into the white water, into the crush. Oh, I've been crushed. If you're living somewhere where you've ever surfed, if you've ever actually had a wave completely drop you to the bottom of the ocean and drag you and your board by your little ankle all the way up the sand and deposit you in a little crumpled heap where you're like, wow, nature wins. Nature wins every time. I don't win, nature wins. I am just a guest of nature. I am a guest of what is natural in the universe, and I am blessed to be here, but I am not in charge. Not in charge. I think sometimes with our cell phones and our connectivity and the fact that you can take these incredible art lessons with me from anywhere in the world, no matter what you're doing, you know, we lose a little bit of track of not in charge. Definitely not in charge. Okay. See, we're facing our fears. We're facing this big wave, and we're totally doing it. It's wonderful. I'm going to grab another reasonable size filbert if I can find one of them in my little endless kit of brushes. I have so many brushes. Okay. This is probably 3/4 inch filbert. I'm going to move down to that. I have to keep all these, and then I make a little list at the end and put it in the description. It's getting to be about time to do a vlog, guys. Time to do some viewer mail. Get some white. I feel like I want it to be more on this kind of. Okay. I'm gonna come along here. Just pull it down. Pull it down. Working along this edge, and I'm gonna take this very light color to about here and pull it down. And then I feel like the wave is just gonna get a little bit darker, you know, as we're going. Now you can come into these waves, like I mix that nice kind of color and get some highlights going in there, right? Telling a story. It's really about taking the balance of these dark colors and these light colors, keeping it very dark down here and lighter up here, make it a little even more white. Just pull this even a little bit right here, pulling it. Just a little. And if it gets too light, you know what you do? You just go back in and you just darken it up. That's what you do. You just darken it up. Darken it up. One of you talking to me, when you hear those little dings, it's somebody saying hi to the Sherpa. Hi! I never, ever, ever don't just answer something. I can lose it. I can get crazy. It can get overwhelming in the studio. But I'm never, ever late to somebody's question. So if ever in the history of ever I somehow missed your question, just like go back and go, did you see this? Because that's all that's happened. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like right now we're like at this really sort of like small town community. We're like Humboldt County, and we haven't yet become New York. I think what we're going to do is that app is going to fix things for when we are bigger, bigger, bigger. All right, so here we go. That's looking really, really good. And we're going to get back into our dark colors. So I'm going to get my purple. I'm going to get my red. Cad red. Come over into the blue, right, and the green. Look at that. And then just more green. A little more red. There we go. There it is. There it is. Phthalo blue. Phthalo green. A little bit of red. Got some white on my brush, and so what's happening is this natural streaking. Okay, pulling up the curve. I still want it to be even darker. Dark water. Blending it in, and that's what it's about. That is what it is about. Okay, guys? And, you know, I stop these before often I would stop in my own studio for the purposes of I just don't be stuck with me for the rest of your lives. And so sometimes I finish a tutorial before I might finish a painting. But I want you guys to paint, to keep working it out, to resolve it until you feel like you found, whoa, too much red, the end of that painting. I'm thinking actually I'm going to take this dark, dark, dark all the way up here. I'm going to change where I have my little highlights. I'm going to take all that out. See, that's what you do. Now I'm going to go get a little of this color. And what I'm going to do, this is something to pay attention to. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to jacket chan this too. Break it down because this is water. I'm going to really respect the curve of the wave, the wall of water, the curl that it's making. Okay. How's that? That's looking pretty darn decent. Here we go. We've got away. Get into this green. Pull this green. This green is your friend. It says a lot of things about water. The phthalo green. It says a lot about water. And remember, you can also add the burnt sienna to it too, to tone it down. Now I have done waves in crazy colors like purple and yellow. So waves really are about this color scheme. When you see those fantastic spray paint artists, that's what they're doing. Listen, if you have a YouTube show, I think you're so cool. I think it's so cool to put content up and give it to people for free and put it out into the world and say, I'm going to make something more instead of making something less. I'm going to make something better instead of making something worse. I love that. Okay, so I've got this gray that I had pulled out earlier. I'm going to go get some white into it. See how it's almost like a gray? Might even get some green in there. It's just a really crazy color. And right here, I'm going to add some of this to what's happening down here because there's some reflection. And that's just something, and you might need to come in with some deep colors up into your light color too, because this is, you want to break this up. And this is what the dance is about, right? See there? Put some of that in there. Ooh, I love that. I love this. It is the most fun. Come get the blue. And add a little red. And add a little red. Do the I did it dance. Do the I did it dance. Because I got a soul rainbow. Yeah. It's all there. It just feels good. So I'm just adding some shadow in this water because there just would be. There just would be shadow in this way. We just have a lot going on. Okay, so we've got our curl. Dude, we got a curl, totally. So excited. Ready to do it. Spitching. Oh, I did that. All right, I'm going to get my crazy brush out again. Now, you may need to put out more white. Something to notice here, you might have noticed that my gel is sort of just run along here and it's having like a whole little moment on its own. That's going to happen. You can keep gel in another little pot. It's just... whatever you want to do. Alright, so I've got my white paint. I'm not really going to get white going that many places. But I'm going to dry my brush out. And I'm going to get a little brown and purple going again, like you do. Like you do. Tap it out on my thing, and I'm going to come into the white. And now we're gonna work it. Now we're gonna really start the working it. Because this is where it is happening, right? And it's nice to have this little bit of blue and these dark bits. And I'll try to work around them a little. But they're going to get painted out a bit and then just peek through and create a tonality. I'm just trying to tell the story. This wind is blowing here. Scrambling. Right? Just scrambling here. Crazy break that's going on. It's just the water. The bonds are breaking and stuff is happening. And hopefully you can kind of see the craziness that I've got going on. We're going to really get all detailed up in this. And then the fun. I don't know you're ready for the fun, but the fun is coming. Breaking it here. So the way it would start to be, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it totally start to? Wouldn't it totally start to come apart there? You know what? I just put out black. I haven't used it for your signature. That's what it's for. Sometimes I get these going and then, you know, you see the painting at the end. It's like I filmed the intro at the end of the lesson. I filmed the hello at my goodbye. I'm like a time traveler. I don't like do the painting that you guys voted on. I always want you to see exactly what you're going to be getting at the end. Now here I'm going to get back into my Jackie Chan. Got a lighter little thing here. Allowing some lighter and darker to work this out. Put some of that there, scrumble a little bit of that there, and then get some more white. And this one I'm going much stronger in the white. Okay. Then I'm going to come along and I'm going to find a little storyline here. I'm going to start to tell the details of this break. See that coming in? The details of this break. Look at the details of that break. It's crazy. Make the noise if you need the noise. Make the noise if you need the noise. Sip the drink if you need the drink. This has been really good. I have to say that was spectacularly yummy, and I'm kind of for it. And I'm just dabbing in some places here because I'm trying to show. Right, see, and hopefully the up close cam is really helping you guys see these decisions where I'm coming along and I'm wandering. I'm the wanderer. Oh, Lost Girl reference. Oh, I watch too much science fiction. Game of Thrones. Skip up in 10 years and that would make no sense to be like, what? When are you watching it? Like on reruns? That is the hardest thing for me about all of this, is realizing these are up and they're giving art. They're giving art. for a long time, aren't they? See, I'm just picking little spots. I'm making some choices, and you come in and around these dark dots. Showing this thing. Now the fun part is the wacky whack, which is why I have this here, and you may want to go outside to do it. That's the fun part, besides destroying a brush like I am. The fun part is that going outside and doing the whack. Because that's the part where people are like, you have the best sea foam I've ever seen. It's like, I learned the whack from my mom. Whack, 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 whack. That's what it is. I learned it from her. Now we have this tremendous crush that's happening. To define this maybe a little bit more, to scrumble it, to give it more of a definition, I think, so that the craziness doesn't completely get it lost. How's that? Ooh, I like it. All right, the whackety whack. Don't talk back. So I have this brush, I gotta find it, that I like beating when I'm, got this one. Where's my whacking brush? I have a whacking brush specifically. It's all been abused. There it is. The whacking brush. So this is a natural bristle. Dude, I've left it in the water so much that all the coating has come off, and now it's got all this paint on it, and it's like all the like Pinterest pins of like, this is what an artist brush looks like. And what it really is that you go to make a sandwich and you forget your brushes in water, and then the coating comes right off. If you do that, by the way. So I'm going to get my brush quite wet, and I'm going to come load some white on it. Make sure, not crazy wet. Now listen, this can go crazy on you, so do some tests first. Experiment a little bit. I've been painting for a while, so I kind of know what whack will what and where it will go. But you might not be as familiar with the results, and I might get another heavier brush to whack against. This one might be good. Sometimes a nice double weighted brush. You can use a toothbrush and load a toothbrush and go flick, flick, flick as well. But this is what I love to do. And now you're like, oh, don't do it on your granite countertop. Yeah, got it, totally, yeah. Not doing it on the granite. But again, if you get this somewhere you don't want it to be, rubbing alcohol takes up dried acrylic paint off of smooth surfaces pretty readily. Drops are going to come across on the front of your wave as well, guys, as it should, because the break should be happening. The foam should be everywhere. The closer you are to the canvas, the more directional, like, I hope you're seeing this, like, oh my God, I'm going to be heartbroken when this thing comes apart. And this is just my happy method of getting this up here. A lot of people have different methods, and I'm completely okay with that. If you're not getting any splat, a lot of times it is that there's just not enough water on the pet brush. Again, like everything else I'm always talking about, it's a check your materials, isn't it? Now my intro, I'm going to be like all covered in paint until I'm like, what is going on? Look at that. Hopefully this looks good in the thumbnail. You know, if you don't like the splatters being on your wave, you can always come in and take it off. You can change things. You can make it your own. This is just what you need in a basic shape. Wave is coming over, crashing back. Steph is blowing it back up. Deep colors at the bottom, light colors at the top. Not a thing. It's not a thing. All right. I guess the black paint was for signing. Sign your name. I will just make sure to find the description down below. Have a beautiful week. May you face your fears about what it is you think you can't do that you probably actually can do. We're never missing the strength we need inside to face the things that we have going on in our life, even though sometimes it really feels like we do. You've got it in you. It's in you. You're infinite. You're amazing. You're incredible. You can paint a wave. Look at this beautiful wave. I want you to be creative all week, live open-hearted, and I'm going to see you for something really fun at this easel again really soon. Be sure to share your paintings with me. Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, my webpage. Bye. Bye-bye.